it for advertising for a hardware store, and General Electric got very nervous about it and bought out the patent because it was threatened, thought it might threaten its incandescent light bulb. So then we didn't hear about it again until 1910, when it was introduced to the world at the Paris World's Fair. In 1920, it made its way to the United States because of the advent of the car and the wonderful advertising venue that it created. So the first people to use it for advertising was a Packard car dealer in Los Angeles in 1924. And then, of course, we had the explosion of Broadway, and eventually, in 1928, the first sign was brought here to Las Vegas, the Oasis Cafe, and then after that, all of the hotels started, and there you have it. That's that history. Las Vegas, we'll talk about the birth date and the famous land auction when we get over there. But I have to say that Las Vegas was really nothing but a railroad stop until the 1930s, when three things happened. And one of the big things happened, you see this wedding chapel sign, and you'll see many of them throughout the Boneyard, is that the laws were changed in regard to marriage and divorce. You can come here, get married without a blood test. You just signed a piece of paper for a license and got married. There were no Elvis Presley ministers then. That became a big thing. People would come here and go out to different ranches and stay for 6 weeks to establish residency to get a divorce. So we became the divorce and wedding capital of the United States. That was in the 30s. Also in the 30s, we had the building of Hoover Dam, which brought all kinds of labor and people here to work on the dam. So the population started to grow, but then we had the biggest thing, we had the legalization of gambling. So the population then grew to about 5,900 or something, which back then was a lot of people. Now here in the greater Las Vegas Valley, we have just under 2 million people. So that's kind of a history of that. As far as the Neon Museum Boneyard goes, it's an interesting fact that when the neon signs were made, they were made by a young electric sign company, and they were not purchased by the hotels. They were leased to the hotels. And then shortly after this started, some of the employees, or possibly the owner of YESCO, Young Electric Sign Company, noticed that the signs, some of them were in disrepair. So he demanded